What's up, everybody? It's Bear with BearIndependent.com, and today we're going to discuss why I switched to an AK-47 platform, AKM, pick your poison. You know, recently I posted an update to my line gear video in an effort to have a little bit of fun and analyze, critique my loadout design from a couple of years ago and apply some lessons learned. And it was quite entertaining in the comments to see so many people saying, "Bear, I can't believe you switched to an AK pattern rifle. You got AK mags in your chest rig. You got AK mags in your sling bag. What's going on? You've been telling me for years that the AR-15 is the gun to rule the world and blah, blah, blah." Yep. Yes to all of that. What did I switch to an AK pattern rifle? I didn't. So many of y'all getting caught up in the details of things that don't matter. I didn't. Other than the tragic boating accident, I've not gotten rid of any of my AR platform rifles. Why would you in today's day and age? They're worth their weight in gold, platinum even, whatever that fancy metal is they use to build spaceships, that stuff, molybdenum or whatever, okay? Those things are literally priceless these days. No, I've not gotten rid of any of my ARs, not a one. Which does beg the question, why would I have an AK? Let's talk about that a little bit. Well, the first is, variety is the spice of life, okay? So, because I can. I've owned AKs throughout the years. I find them enjoyable to shoot. Many people might not. They tend to be a little bit heavier with a little bit more recoil impulse than an AR platform. More muzzle, blast, heavier magazines, larger magazines, blah, 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 blah. But I like shooting them. They're fun. I like shooting them. They're fun. So the first reason is because I can. Praise the Father, we still live in the United States of America, where at least during the time of this recording, we can get such things as AKs. 2 thumbs up. The next is availability. Right now, and excuse the wind, got zero control over that, believe it or not. Right now, many people are saying, "Hey Bear, what weapons platform should I get?" And because of the vast amount of scarcity in the supply chain right now, pretty much whatever you can get. And so if you can get an AK, but you can't get an AR, maybe you need to think about getting an AK. Because if you don't have a carbine, a defensive carbine, you very likely ought to have one. At least I would feel naked without one in today's day and age. So availability, the AK platform might be the only thing you can get your hands on. It's a very robust platform. And this is not an AK versus AR video. There's thousands of those already, and you don't need my opinion on that because I already told you, reason one is variety is the spice of life. Why must I pick? I choose all, okay? So availability, and not just availability of the platform itself, availability of the ammunition and the magazines. The ammunition, typically speaking, is going to be 7.62 by 39 millimeter. This is not as far as I understand right now, a currently issued round by any major military power in the world. However, there's still lots of that ammo around. I just got a lot of steel-cased Tula, which runs great in my AKs. Some ARs will not run steel cased, or they will not run it reliably. I've talked about this on Patreon. But the ammunition is still out there. You can get it. Is it easy to find? No, nothing's easy to find right now, but it is out there. You can get it. To say nothing of expedient acquisition during times of conflict. Battlefield pickup. Having multiple platforms that chamber multiple rounds gives me options. Options are good when you're trying to operate. We want options, okay? So I may find myself in a situation where I can't get 5.56 NATO, but I do have or can get 7.62 by 39. So this is not the justification video to show to your wife or husband as to why you must have an AK now because Bear said so. But for me, it gives me options. If I have multiple carbines and multiple calibers, yes, I do have to stack more ammunition, but that gives me options. And 7.62 39 is a widely available caliber, which means that it is widely dispersed across this great nation. We'll just leave that at that. Do I anticipate having a hard time finding 5.56 NATO? No, I don't, but still options are good, okay? The next reason is interoperability. Now, we've discussed this at great length with the AR-15. I like the AR-15 platform, M4 style platform, because if everybody in your crew, everybody in your squad, everybody on your fire team, hey Bear, we're doing it big, we've got our own battalion, cool. Bless you, that's awesome. If everybody in your group is running ARs, we have a winner. If I'm carrying a spare bolt carrier group and you have an issue with your gun, I can probably resolve it by taking my spare bolt carrier group and throwing it in your gun. Caveat, asterisk. Our mags are interoperable. Hey man, I'm out, throw me a mag. Okay, cool. As I've said before, if you're the AK guy in a sea of ARs and you run dry, either we're gonna carry a spare AK mag for you or you are SOL, brother. Nobody wants to be SOL. However, I know and operate with a couple of different groups that the AK-47-ish asterisk caveat platform is their preferred weapon of choice. Interoperability. So if I'm gonna go run with those guys, doesn't it help to have a rifle of the same caliber that takes the same pattern magazines? Yes, it does. There's also something to be said about the pap versus chunka of an AK versus AR. If you're actually operating, they have two distinctly different sounds when they fire. Well, that could help us as far as IFF is concerned, identification friend or foe, if we are on opposite sides of the battlefield, lobbing stones at 3,000 feet per second at one another, and everybody over there has AKs and everybody over here has ARs, except for the one guy with the AK over here. That could cause some type of confusion that the chunk is all coming from over there, except for one chunk over here. Who is that again? We don't want any of that, right? And so interoperability with the AR platform matters when everybody's running ARs. Interoperability with the AK platform matters when everybody's running AKs. And so, again, getting back to options, variety being the spice of life, it could behoove you to have an AK. And then lastly, did I mention their fun? Joy of ownership. I like shooting them. I think they're cool, man. I've had several different AKs over the years. I've had the opportunity to shoot many different AKs over the years, and I find them enjoyable to shoot. So why did I switch to an AK? I didn't. Show an AK one time, show one chest rig full of AK magazines, and the internet loses its collective poop. Come on, guys. You should never be hanging on anybody's words, any man's words, including my own. Now, Can we reprove and instruct one another? Absolutely. But just because I said or do something doesn't necessarily mean that you need to say or do that same thing. So if you still got an AR, bless you, wonderful. If you've still got an AK, bless you, wonderful. No big deal. I like both. We have many different platforms within our camp. We got Swiss guns and German guns and World War II guns and American guns and modern warfare guns and Cold War era firearms and shotguns and pistols and long range rifles. We got all of it. And depending on what the day is, I'll have whatever platform just feels right. I mean, for example, right there, that ain't an AK or an AR. The loadout should suit the mission profile. And the mission profile today, for me, is long range, which an AR or an AK does not excel at. So, take a deep breath, breathe a sigh of relief, Bear Nation. No, I didn't switch to AKs, I added AKs. And have been doing so for a while. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being along for the ride. If you're new here, go ahead and click subscribe and ring that little bell icon. That way YouTube will pretend to notify you when we go live and new videos post. And share this out to with the best words, tremendous, believe it. Share this out to people you think might benefit from this little discussion. And as always, Patreon, we appreciate y'all. You're the best. If you want to join the Patreon team, somewhere down here there's a baby bear. You can click that little baby bear. It'll take you there. And then, you know what? I'm not saying causation does not equal correlation, or correlation does not equal causation. That's the words I'm looking for. I'm just saying that our patrons tend to experience a higher quality of life. I'm not saying it's for the same reason, or, I don't know. Coincidence? Maybe. You be the judge. Shalom, y'all.